The Riddles of Barabbas, Chapter 5. The Parable of the Print. Barabbas returned south to Jerusalem. Now back to Jerusalem Barabbas went. He goes north, south, and north in restless discontent, as though to make note that his journey's not the same as a prophet who also goes by the same name. He came to Bethesda, where healings were common, a queue of 6 people lined up in a column. An angel would stir up the waters, and gifted the first person in would have their disease lifted. But one man had been there for 38 years, alive in the charity of volunteers, never quite dunked himself into the water, but he'd found a living right here as a squatter. So J-Bar asked him, "You want to be fine?" He said, "I've no friend to help cut me in line." But J-Bar told him, "Pick your mat up and walk," and then the man found that his knees were unlocked. Then J-Bar departed as swift as a cheat, to leave the man wobbling on his newfound feet. The Jews came and said to him, "Hey, what's the matter? Don't be upstanding, you'll fall down and clatter. We're not supposed to be working today, to keep you from falling or going astray. For 38 years you've been under our roof. Please follow the rules, they're not just for reproof." The invalid said in defense, "But some guy, who I don't know, and right now I can't spy. All that we had was a short little talk. He told me to pick up my mat and then walk." This man with no job and no skills and no pride, did they kick him out or still let him abide? With no one and nowhere and no place to go, he sought out this mystery man who'd gone ghost, to ask who he was and why he'd just done this. When found, the man told him his name was Jesus. See, now you are healed, so my sign's a success. Go tell them my name, and stop sinning or else. Part 2. My father's not lazy like yours. The healers who ran the sheep pool were off Sunday. Said 38 years, could he wait until Monday? So J-Bar said this rebuke was persecution, and took offense, said, "Unlike your institution, this Sabbath, you say, is made holy by God. My father rests not, he is no lazy sod. So choose who to worship, taskmaster or sloth. This Sabbath is stupid, not worthy of thought." The more Jesus argued, they thought they could tell this wasn't Messiah, but teaching from hell. For they who had understood Sabbath was holy might have allowed that some shifts could be rolled around so that work could be done when it's needed, provided the workers have rest on the weekend. Proclaiming that never had God been at rest, his father defies the book of Genesis. That's not the same God that the Israelites worshipped. He's letting in some attributes of the serpent. Part 3. A Man and His Writing. Still, let me tell you the magic of print. It stays on the page and conveys when you squint. Decades and centuries, maybe millennia, join writer to reader in link of print media. So if we look close at the Gospel of John, the print has been working persistent since drawn. And so in the words of this Gospel that's writ, the work of a man and the sum of his wit, it's not unlikely he called himself Father, of words he has written of which he's the author. And ever since that day his words have been working, as though to tell us what the author is thinking. And though print continues to work upon Sundays, both author and print are consistent with their ways. The rest of this chapter continues this riddle. I translate each verse going little by little. The author loves writing and shows all he does, and thinks more than possible dreams that he loves. The author writes words that raise dead and give life, or tell good from bad, and judge deeds wrong from right. You don't like the words or you don't like the story? Whoever you are, you don't give any glory. Can you force a miracle into your mind believed, or fake it till you make it, then do you become deceived? And what success have you achieved believing in your teacher, if every word's misunderstood when listening to the speaker? If you understood the author's rational intent, he has crossed from death to life when you know what he meant. The dead are raised by Son of God, but do not be misled. the voices of the dead are raised by reading what they said. The author's printability The author's ability to raise the dead's amazing. Ink on paper little does, the author's words are staying. The words, if they're not read, do not come in the mind of you, but someone will interpret them and think of what they do. Reading John, we hear his gospel testify it's true, but this gospel will not say that you've figured the right view. All we have is words through which to try enjoy his light, but words so weighty, why to write? What reason sins in sight? These words published posthumously, we've never seen the author, and never have we understood his meaning or the Father. Some study scriptures hard for life eternal to be seen. Alas, the Torah's got Isaiah 28:18. Agreements that we make with death are doomed to be annulled. No benefit believing what's not true, that should be culled. Words are written on the page, they care not what you think, and slander of your heart, John's Gospel writes it down in ink. The words here printed under names John, Jesus, and the Father, and you do not accept meanings intended by the author, but someone else who comes along and says exactly what they mean, you accept because you see their motivations clean. Even though they may assent to flawed interpretation, why should you be questioning consensus correlation? If you agree and say John 5 surely about an author, and clearly not about the praise of God our Holy Father, I think you'll find you're not aligned with men of pedigree, so you'll be wanting to agree so they'll give you glory. But when you go agree with them that what we should work on Sunday, you break the third commandment which says keep the Sabbath holy. But since you don't believe what Moses carved in stone that day, how will you believe what John has written down to say?